Hi, it is Thursday, May the 26th of 2011, and tonight I'm making my official endorsement for Texas Congressman and Dr. Ron Paul for the presidency in 2012. If you want the wars to end, if you want the TSA to keep its hands off your junk and off your kids, if you want this country to quit being run by the banks and the corporations, if you want our government to work for us instead of those same banks and corporations and the international interests, if you want our executive to pay homage to and respect the rule of law and our Constitution, what other choice is there? If you want a president who does not support the notion of corporate welfare, you know, where they basically take all the money from us and give it to the rich folks and the big corporations. If you want the Federal Reserve to quit, indirectly taxing your money through their inflationary schemes, if you want a return to personal responsibility and to liberty, what other choice do we have? Has President Obama done anything to stop the TSA? Has President Obama done anything to repeal the Patriot Act? Oh, no, it just got passed again today. Has President Obama done anything to end the wars? Now, some of you are going to say he got bin Laden, but strangely enough, we're not talking about packing up, moving out of Afghanistan just yet. Nope. We're still attacking Pakistan with drones. And they say that we're going to leave Iraq by December of this year. And I'll believe that when all the planes are loaded with the equipment and the troops, and they're actually in the air leaving Iraq. No, you know what? I'll have to wait another 20 hours until they actually touch down on American soil. You want to end this nonsense in Libya, where we basically disregarded the Constitution and taken our marching orders from NATO, where the president used the War Powers Act to authorize this kinetic military action against Colonel Gaddafi in Libya. And then, when 60 days passed, despite the fact that the War Powers Act says he must come back to the Congress and get an authorization, nah. Our role over there is limited, so I don't need to do that. Really? Really? It's that mentality, I think, that makes it okay for folks to say, what Fourth Amendment? The TSA, the Patriot Act, that doesn't infringe on your Fourth Amendment. We've always been at war with East Asia. Really? We got state Supreme Courts now that say you basically have no right to resist an officer, a policeman, who enters your home, with or without cause, with or without a warrant. Last week, a former Marine in Arizona was killed by SWAT when his wife woke him up because she saw SWAT members outside their house with guns pointed at her. He got up, they broke in, they shot 70 times and hit him like 63. For what? According to the news, they were exercising a blanket warrant on a neighborhood. At least that's what I read. For drugs. For drugs. What? We're finding out that the sneak and peek searches that are being conducted, authorized by the Patriot Act, that 77% of them are performed in support of drug cases that have absolutely nothing to do with suspected terrorism. I don't know, that sounds like a police state. I don't want a police state. I want a country. I know there's no guarantee of privacy in the Constitution, but our Fourth Amendment does say that we have the right to be secure in our persons, in our homes, in our papers, and in our effects. The Fourth Amendment lays out the process by which, the legal process by which we can be searched and things of ours can be seized. But that's been disregarded. It's been tossed aside. They sold it to us on the fear of terrorism. I'm sorry. I'm not that afraid of terrorism. The numbers don't lie. Even with the attack on September the 11th, you're like 50,000 times more likely to die in your car on your way to work tomorrow. So what do we need? Hold up. What do we need? I think maybe the government should come out, inspect your car, drive next to you while you drive to work, and ensure a bubble around you and everyone else on the way to work. It's lunacy. But we continue. We deal with it. You know, we let the TSA fill us up. You know, we let the TSA put their hands on our children. I don't know about you. I've spent my children's entire lives telling them that if a stranger touches you anywhere, you know, and they're not supposed to, you need to tell me. You need to tell the cops. You need to tell a teacher. You need to tell somebody. Don't let strangers touch you. But yet now, because they wear that nifty little blue uniform and the badge, and the government says so, yeah, they get to cop a feel of my kids if they want to fly. What? I don't want that. That's not the idea that our country was built on. And I don't want it. And I know that if I choose Barack Obama, that's what I'm going to get, more of the same. If I choose Tim Pawlenty or Sarah Palin or Mitt Romney, you know, that's what we're going to get, more of the same. More of the same. A government that thinks it can disregard its own constitution, live above the law, you know, police the world, borrow us into bankruptcy to do it. You know, create an environment in our country where it's freaking so tough to run a business that creates jobs for people that few people do it. And yet we wonder why our economy's tanking. And the solution, of course, is more taxes. Aren't you sick of it? And before you listen to the right-wing or left-wing media talk about Dr. Paul as a crackpot, or a weirdo, or a fringe candidate, or unimportant, you ought to look at the grassroots effort behind him from 2007 and 8, because guess what? We are alive and well. We are strong, and we are growing. This may be the last chance that we have to save freedom in our republic. And I hate to speak and sound like I'm speaking in hyperbole, but I really believe that. I truly believe that. If we don't make a change, it's only going to get worse. You know, there's an adage, you know, if you do the same thing you've always done, you'll get what you always got. Well, why shouldn't the same apply to our voting, to our elections? And Dr. Paul has proven himself. You go back 30 plus years. Look at anything he said. Look at any vote he's made. Look at any principle he's championed, any idea. He's been saying the same stuff for 30 years. And his voting record proves that he sticks to his word. Even when he's the single vote for his position, he's done it. That's honesty. That's integrity. That's commitment. That's character. That's leadership. That's what we need. I urge you to look at Dr. Paul. Look at his stance on the issues. Try to understand what he's talking to you about when he says liberty, when he says personal responsibility, when he talks about Austrian economics or the dangers of the Federal Reserve, or the problems that this perpetual war state creates. We go to war, we lose freedom. We've all seen it. We got a virtual police state going on here. Look in the news if you don't believe me. It's all over the place. And if we expect any of it to change, then we got to change the way we've been voting. We got to quit letting this mainstream media determine for us who's going to be our leader. I urge you to look at Dr. Paul. Make the smart choice for your future and for mine. Ron Paul in 2012. Join us.